Hello friends, welcome to video lecture on fluid mechanics. In the today's session, we'll learn about the classification of fluid flow and types of flow line. So let us start. Here, the types of fluid flow in front of you. Okay, this can be classified as steady and unsteady flows. Next one, uniform and non-uniform flows. Next, 1, 2 and 3 dimensional flows. Next, rotational and irrotational flows. Next, laminar and turbulent flows. Next, compressible and incompressible flows. So let us start with the first one, steady and unsteady flows. So in case of steady flow, the type of flow in which the fluid characteristics like velocity, pressure, density, etc. at a point do not change with time is called steady flow. Mathematically, we have dA by u by dA by t at this point x naught, y naught, z naught must be equals to 0. At the same time, dA by v by dA by t at point x naught, y naught, z naught equals to 0, and dA by w by dA by t at x naught, y naught, z naught equals to 0. Similarly, the case with the pressure, okay, dA by p by dA by t at this point x naught, y naught, z naught equals to 0. At the same time, density dA by rho by dA by t at x naught, y naught, z naught equals to 0, and so on. If I consider the apart from this one, the other few characteristics can be considered, then this expansion, this actually details can be repeated. So here that will not changes with respect to time, that's why equals to 0. So what's about this x naught, y naught, z naught? This is nothing but the fixed point in a fluid field, whereas the variables are being measured with respect to timing. So if you just see with respect to timing, we can just taken into consideration the various fluid characteristics such as velocity, pressure, density, etc. Okay, if you just see the example of flow through a prismatic or non-prismatic conduct at a constant flow rate q meter cube per second is a steady flow. Okay, and second one, unsteady flow, it is that type of flow in which the velocity, pressure or density at a point change with respect to time. Mathematically, we have before that, if you just see the example related with the prismatic channel and non-prismatic channel. Okay, so in this case the cross section is uniform. This is known as prismatic channel. Okay, so whatever the fluid flow, this one is nothing but the steady flow. Okay, and if you just see the various cross sections shown here in this way, these are nothing but the prismatic channels, and the flow through this one we are considered as a steady flow. Next one, non-prismatic channel, when the cross section of this one is varies. If you just see here trapezoidal cross section in front of you, if I mix up this with the another shape, okay, then the unsteady flow through that particular channel is takes place. Okay, now if you just say whatever this one, the velocity equation for the steady flow is nothing but u equals to ax square plus bx plus c, which is independent of the timing. If you just see, no any time parameter is available in this equation. This is the quadratic form of the velocity relation. Okay. Now if you just see the next one, unsteady flow, it is that type of the flow in which the velocity, pressure, density at a point change with respect to time. Mathematically, we have this relation with us. Change with respect to time means not equals to 0. If you just see the every relation we are written here, so what's about this one, dA by u by dA by t at this point x naught, y naught, z naught not equals to 0. Similarly with the other two directions, by considering the v as velocity along the y direction, w as velocity along the z direction. So this also not equals to 0. Similar case with the pressure, similar case with the density, that is rho, that also not equals to 0 at the particular point. Okay, now if you just say the whatever the velocity equation for this case is nothing but u equals to x square plus bx t. So what's about this indicate? The time parameter comes into picture, because whatever the properties of this one changes with respect to time. That's why the time parameter comes into picture. Okay, let us start with the next one, uniform and non-uniform flows. Uniform flow, the type of flow in which the velocity at any given time does not change with respect to space, is called uniform flow. Mathematically, we can write this in this way: dabba v by dabba s at time t equals to constant must be equals to 0. So what's about this one? Dabba v is nothing but the change in velocity, and dabba s is nothing but the displacement at any direction. Okay, if you take the example of flow through straight prismatic conduct in this way. Okay, if you just see the flow through the straight pipe of the constant diameter, that is also a uniform flow. The next one, non-uniform flow. It is that type of the flow in which the velocity at given time changes with respect to space. Mathematically, you can write this in this way: dabba v by dabba s at time equals to constant is not equals to 0. If I take the example of flow through non-prismatic conduct. Non-prismatic conduct means here when the cross section of this channel is mixed in nature. If you just see a trapezoid mixed with the rectangle, square, okay, or triangular, okay, that is the type of non-prismatic conduct, and whatever the flow through this one is nothing but the non-uniform flow we can obtain from that. So next example we do with the same is flow around a uniform diameter pipe bend or canal bend, okay, etc. From this, whatever the flow passes, that flow is nothing but the non-uniform flow. Here the space dabba s, this indicates the displacement at any direction. Okay, by if I consider the x, y, z direction, so we can get that particular point once again: x naught, y naught, z naught, okay, etc. Let us see about this one: 1, 2, and 3-dimensional flows. So what's about the one-dimensional flow? It is that type of the flow in which the flow parameter such as velocity is the function of time and one space coordinate only. Mathematically, you can write this one in this way: u is the function of x, at the same time velocity towards the y direction and velocity towards the z direction become 0, where this u, v, w are the velocity components in x, y, z directions respectively. If you take the example of this one, flow in a pipe, where the average flow parameters are considered for analysis. Okay, let us start with the next one, two-dimensional flow. The flow in which the velocity is the function of time and two rectangular space coordinate is called a two-dimensional flow. Mathematically, you can just say in this way: if we consider the x and y two directions, then u is the function of this one xy, at the same time v is the function of this one xy. At the same time, for the consideration of only two axes, we can just say w equals to 0. If you take the example of flow through parallel plates of infinite extent, we just say whatever the flow passes through this parallel plate, okay, that flow is nothing but the two-dimensional flow, because it requires the two axes. To define this one, we require the two axes. Okay, now again, if you take the example of the flow in main stream of the wide river, okay, here if you take the example of a river, okay, for that also for the study of the same, the two axes are required here. Okay, so whatever the flow through this one is nothing but the two-dimensional flow. Now if you take the example of next one, three-dimensional flow, it is that type of the flow in which the velocity is the function of time and three mutually perpendicular directions. For example, if you just say the flow through the converging or diverging pipe or through the channel, if you just see here whatever the flow of the fluid through this one, for this one we need the three axes. x, y, z directions are required. Then if you just see the another example, flow in the prismatic open channel in which the width and the water depth are of the same order of magnitude. So in this case also, if you just see what are the flow through this open channel, for that also we need the three dimensions or three axes, that is x, y, z. Let us discuss about the rotational and irrotational flows. Rotational flow, a flow is said to be rotational if the fluid particles while moving in the direction of flow rotate about their mass centers. Flow near the solid boundaries is rotational. For example, motion of liquid in a rotating tank. Now next one, irrotational flow. A flow is said to be irrotational if the fluid particles while moving in the direction of flow do not rotate about their mass centers. Flow outside the boundary layer is generally considered as irrotational flow. Now whenever any flow comes in contact with the boundary, okay, so because of that layer to layer the velocity difference we get there, okay, so because of this one we can get the rotational motion for that particular particle, okay, so that is nothing but the rotational flow. So here if the flow is rotational as well as steady, it is known as potential flow. To take the example of flow above the drain hole of a stationary tank or wash basin, this is the example with the irrotational flow. And if I take the example of motion of liquid in rotating tank, this is the example with the rotational flow. So let us discuss about this laminar and turbulent flows. Let us start with the laminar flow. A laminar flow is one in which paths taken by the individual particles do not cross one another and move along a well-defined paths. We just see whatever the path taken by the particular layer, okay, that is nothing but the well-defined path. This type of the flow is also called streamline flow or viscous flow. For example, flow through capillary tube. Second example, flow of blood in veins and arteries. Then next one, groundwater flow. Next one, turbulent flow. A turbulent flow is that type of flow in which the fluid particle move in a zigzag way, like this one. If you take the example of high velocity flow in conduct of large size, nearly all fluid flow problems encountered in engineering practice have a turbulent characters. Now if you just say laminar and turbulent flows are characterized on the basis of Reynolds number. For Reynolds number below 2000, the flow in pipe is laminar. If the Reynolds number is greater than 4000, the flow in the pipe is turbulent. If the Reynolds number is in between 2000 and 4000, then the flow in pipes may be laminar or turbulent. Let us discuss about the compressible and incompressible flows. Compressible flow, it is that type of the flow in which the density rho of the fluid changes from point to point. In other words, the density is not constant for this flow. Mathematically, we can just say here density rho is not equals to constant. If you take the example of flow of gases through orifice, then nozzles, gas turbine, etc. Let us discuss with this incompressible flow. It is that type of the flow in which the density is constant for the fluid flow. Liquids are generally considered flowing incompressibly. Mathematically, rho equals to constant. If you take the example of subsonic aerodynamic, okay. Let us discuss about the types of flow lines. So whenever a fluid is in motion, its innumerable particles moving along a certain lines depending upon the conditions of flow. Although flow lines are of several types, yet some important from the subject point of view are discussed in the following subarticles. Now here, if you just see the different flow lines such as path line, streamline, then streak line or stream tube, etc. These concepts studied under this point. If you just say the path line, now see the example of the path line. Path line is the path followed by the fluid particle in its motion. A path line shows the direction of the particular particle as it moves ahead. In general, this is the curve in three-dimensional space. However, if the conditions are such that the flow is two-dimensional, the curve becomes the two-dimension. Okay. Now, in this case, just remember here whatever the path followed by that particular particle, fluid particle in the motion, that is nothing but the path line. So, what's about the streamline? The streamline way may be defined as an imaginary line within the flow so that the tangent at any point on it indicates the velocity at that point. If we just say this one, whatever the flow lines here, if we draw here tangent, this indicate the velocity at that particular point, and a streamline may be defined as an imaginary line within the flow so that the tangent at any point on it indicates the velocity at that point here. The equation of the streamline in a three-dimensional flow is given as dx by u equals to dy by v equals to dz by w. So following points to be noted about that streamline. So first point is here, a streamline cannot intersect itself, nor two streamlines cross each other. Okay, like this one. If you just see here, the smooth lines are going here, and the tangent line drawn to this one are everyone actually at equispaced distance. Okay, that's why they do not cross with each other. The next one, streamline spacing varies inversely as the velocity converging of streamlines in any particular direction shows accelerated flow in that direction, whereas the path line gives the path of one particular particle at successive instants of time. A streamline indicates the direction of a number of particles at the same instant. The series of streamlines represent the flow pattern at an instant. In a steady flow, the pattern of streamline remains invariant with the time. The path lines and streamlines will then be identical. In unsteady flow, the pattern of streamlines may or may not remain the same at the next instant. So this is the basic difference between the steady and unsteady flow. Next one, stream tube. So this is nothing but the stream tube. Stream tube is a fluid mass bounded by a group of streamlines. The contents of the stream tube is known as current filament. See some of the points to be noted about that stream tube. So examples of the stream tube are pipes, nozzles, etc. Now just see the points related with that stream tube. The stream tube has finite dimensions. As there is no flow perpendicular to streamlines, therefore there is no flow across the surface of the stream tube. The stream surface functions as if it were a solid wall. Then next one, the shape of the stream tube changes from one instant to another because the change in the position of streamlines. So let us discuss about the streak line. The streak line is a curve which gives an instantaneous picture of a location of a fluid particles which have passed through a given instant. For example, the path taken by the smoke coming out of the chimney. If you take the example of whatever the, if you just see the here, the ray diagram of the smoke generator in front of you, whatever the smoke comes out of this one the system that passes through in outward direction through this nozzle, and at that particular instant, so whatever the we get the flow pattern, that is nothing but the streak line. So the path taken by the smoke coming out of the chimney. Another experiment, okay, this one example in front of you, where experimental work is to trace the motion of fluid particles. For that, a color dye may be injected. From here, the color dye may be injected into the flowing fluid, and then the resulting colored filament lines at a given location gives the streak lines. Here, if you just see, in case of the steady flow, there is no geometrical distinction between the streamline, path line, and streak line. They are coincident if they originate at the same point. For an unsteady flow, the path, streak, and streamlines are all different. Here the example of this person giving out a whiff of smoke from the cigarette. Okay, this example is given. I hope that in the today's lecture, whatever the points we have discussed clear to you. Thank you.